Welcome to another edition of For the Health of It. I'm your host, Corian K-Pad Paget, and today I have with me Larry Howard. Larry, how are you doing, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. So, Larry, sorry for the little awkwardness, man. But like I was saying right before we started recording, I want to hear your story, the story of Larry Howard, how your weight loss journey, your fitness journey, how you got into bodybuilding, and then also how you got into performance training. So have at it.
Okay. Well, first off, thank you for having me. I appreciate being a part of your podcast and obviously being able to, speak to the health and wellness and the lifestyle that has become my brand, has become a huge part of who I am. I can tell you that as a former athlete, I've always had the competitive edge in me. Training was a part of my lifestyle from being very young to now being even older. Um, and it is translated to my career and my passion for what I do. So basically, I had a very interesting journey. I grew up an athlete, high school, college, all that. And then, I was in sports camp growing up. My parents did it to pretty much keep me off of the gaming systems at home
Right.
and keep me from a sedentary lifestyle. So, being a part of the sports culture growing up and being an athlete, that's translated over to college. In college, I got an opportunity to work out with the strength and conditioning staff with the football team, and took a couple kinesiology classes. But I didn't know all of the career pathways that were available in kinesiology. I think at the time, it was just lack of exposure.
Right.
So as a result, what I ended up doing was I went the corporate America route coming out of school, worked at Enterprise, rent a car for a bit, still was training, still working out, still doing all these different things. And then I became a part of the corporate cycle, if you will. I tore both my ACLs, not subsequently and not at the same time. But as a result of being part of that, being a part of the corporate lifestyle, I gained weight. Was very unhappy with myself. When I tore my ACL, I ended up going to the hospital because I threw blood clots and pneumonia. I developed a pulmonary embolism in my lungs,
Ooh-wee.
and I ended up having pneumonia. And at the time, I was not like morbidly obese or anything like that,
Right.
but I wasn't in the best shape. I mean, I think time caught up with me. I had did some party promoting. I had an opportunity to live life and be out here and not get a chance to really embrace that health and wellness lifestyle. While sitting in the bed in the ICU, I realized that there were some things that I wanted to get back to in my life. One of them being the athletic side of me and the sports performance side. So while working at Paychecks and business to business, doing sales in corporate America, thinking that I was going to climb the corporate ladder, I kept cheating on my job with my dream.
Mm.
So there were several times I was going to different conferences. I got a chance to train with Sean T, and I got a chance to train with the head of PT for the Army National Guard, Ken Weichert, celebrity trainer Jeanette Jenkins, sports performance coach Todd Durkin. The list goes on. I eventually decided to get my personal training certification. And while I was at work, I was studying things that really would make me better in fitness. I fell in love with making athletes better. One of my first clients was a professional marathoner. She had a race that she was preparing for overseas. And I got her in amazing shape. And the way that my mind worked was one of performance in addition to aesthetics. So I did all these different things, got a chance to become an Insanity certified instructor, did Spartan races and all these other things. But in the midst of all of this, I saw fluctuations in weight, but I never really understood how to get my body to that very, very lean body mass that I wanted to see, that I coveted as a member of the fitness industry. even in my athletic pursuits, I never got to that lean body mass. I always had, some sort of body fat on me, and part of that could be due to genetics. So that was something that I just coveted to see. So in 2016, I did my first bodybuilding competition.
Okay.
Also, in 2016, I decided that I wanted to not only go full time into fitness, but I wanted to pursue my passion in getting back into the sports performance arena. So in 2016, I went and got my master's in exercise science. I was fortunate because of the fact that I had so much time and experience at that time as a personal trainer that they decided not to pay attention to the fact that I didn't actually have an undergraduate degree in kinesiology, which is normally what's required. They were willing to take my practical experience as a trainer to be able to translate to getting the prerequisites for that said degree. And I went to Northeastern Illinois University to do that.
Gotcha.
It was very challenging. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
I will tell you that not having a undergraduate degree in exercise science while pursuing a master's in it is a very difficult and daunting task. But I was fortunate enough to finish with above 3.0 GPA when I graduated in 2018. Now, in 2017, I tore my second ACL during the Spartan race. So throughout all this time, I got a chance to educate myself. I got injured quite a bit. I learned how to construct my body to not only overcome injury, but also get my body fat percentage down through bodybuilding.
Right.
The bodybuilding passion transcended from 2016 to 2019, and in 2019, I nationally qualified for the first time ever, winning my show in my class and qualifying to go to the national stage. One of the things that I learned throughout this time is that obviously you have to really learn the human body and learn how to train smart to really get to the body composition that you want to get to. I also learned that being at those lower body compositions for me, the lower body fat composition for me, was definitely a better move simply because of the fact that I am not putting as much pressure on my knees, especially having them had them reconstructed via ACL surgery. So, that's kind of all around the world gist of what took place to get me to where I'm at today. I've had a host of other certifications. I still, participate in Spartan races even after getting injured. But ultimately, my passions in this space are helping people overcome obstacles like much of what I've had to overcome, figure out how to, get their body compositions down the right way, not through fads, but in actual science, and then helping athletes be better. While I was in my program, I had the opportunity to intern in strength and conditioning at the University of Illinois, Chicago, in their Olympic sports performance department. There, I really got my wings when it came to program design and understanding what athletes need to be able to function at a higher level. I've had opportunities to travel to different places and work out with different teams like Michigan State, and Iowa State, and, Purdue. Being able to go to these places and do work with some of these coaches in their football capacity has definitely sharpened me as a trainer to provide experiences for both the general population and athletes that I think make them better. Last year and the year before that, starting in about 2018, 2019, it's about 2019, I started doing work with Under Armour Chicago as a resident trainer at their store. I sat on the panel for their Rush product, speaking from a trainer perspective. And I served as a trainer there, and I still do work with them, influencing and training on their Chicago page for Instagram. In addition to that, I also hosted a series of workouts this summer where I was able to work with different athletes and other brands such as Fabletics, Men, as well as Rain Body Fuel, in helping get athletes better and providing, athletic style workouts at a local football field downtown Chicago. And of course, these workouts were socially distanced. And we made, the necessary accommodations for people, given the fact that COVID was and is.
Right.
So I've had a myriad of experiences. I think that have prepared me, and I think my current endeavor right now is working on my CSCS, so that I can work back in that collegiate setting in an official capacity. And right now, I'm focusing on building my online business, so that I can coach athletes and just people who need, any type of body recomp positions all around the country.
Cool. So, man, how old are you?
35.
Okay, all right. I was like, man, this dude lived a full life. Goodness. All right, so you're not that much older. I'm 32. All right, cool. So what sport did you play?
I played basketball. I did track and field, cross country, and swimming, and I did soccer coming up too.
Cool.
I would have done football, but unfortunately, they didn't have football at my high school, so I didn't.
Time out.
Yeah.
What?
I missed my calling, especially considering how much I love it, and consequently, that's the sport that I want to coach.
Right.
When it comes to strength and conditioning.
Right.
I love football, but when I was there, they didn't have a football team.
How tall are you?
So I'm 6'3".
Wow. And what high school was this?
I went to Chicago Ag in Chicago.
Gotcha.
And they just didn't have a football team. They got one now.
Right.
And they developed it. I think my last year I was there. But by that point, I was already involved in too many other activities. That year, track and field, we went to the city. So we were, very competitive. And it just, it was a missed opportunity. I definitely missed it. I love playing football during recess. So believe you me, if I had the opportunity, it would have definitely been a move I would have made.
Wow, man. So, it's rare.
Yeah.
It is rare to hear somebody say their high school didn't have football. I mean, I know it's possible, but it's just real rare, especially.
It's very rare.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the schools in Chicago had football. It's just our school.
Right.
We didn't have a football field. We didn't have a football. We didn't have football. So it was unfortunate. But I look at it. There are a lot of things that I wish we would have had. I wish we would have had like a formal strength and conditioning department. We did not have that. We didn't have any coaches when it came to weightlifting. We did push-ups. Even when training for like track and field, we would train, in the high school running the hallways, which that's not good for the knees, running, on concrete. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that, I mean, even when it comes to like getting ready for, athletic events, we were doing static stretches, which is a huge no-no.
Right.
I mean, it was just so many different things. Part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, and part of the reason why I think I've gotten injured as much as I have, is because I didn't have a person I need to talk to when I was at that age. I didn't have somebody who would say, this is how you should take care of your body. This is how you should do this. This is how you should do that. I should have, had I had that when I was coming up during this time, I would have been, I think, in better shape.
Gotcha. Okay, so
and maybe I wouldn't have missed my window. However, I feel like if I have the opportunity to channel that into the next generation of athletes, then hey, my work is done.
Hey, heck yeah. So man, you're graduated from college, from your undergrad, and now you're working on you're working in corporate America. What says is it when you're in the hospital with the pulmonary embolism that you're like, all right, something in my life's got to change? Talk to me about your weight loss journey.
I was working in jobs where everyone practiced very unhealthy habits.
Right.
There was constant smoking, high stress, quotas, constant office lunches, you know, constant caffeine and coffee with all types of gunk with it. I mean, you're dealing with all of this just unhealthy stuff, and you're surrounded by it. And when you're surrounded by it, that's what you know, that's what you see, that's what you, I mean, you get surrounded by it, and you literally get, you sometimes you almost feel suffocated, like you're about to suffocate from dealing with some of these things. So for me, I knew this is not who I am. You know, I remember I was watching, I think that summer, the Olympics, and no one in the office really cared. And I was watching it, and I saw these athletes just doing amazing things. I believe this was the year that Simone Biles and all of them were, you know, doing what they had to do. No, actually, it wasn't a year. I think this was the first year of the Fab Five. And I saw these world-class athletes, and it was all this how proud they were, and it brought back that nostalgia for me of being an athlete, being in shape, being able to compete on a high level. And for me, that's something that you can't really shake as a person. Once you're an athlete, you're always an athlete. So for me, I was unhappy being in that state, and I didn't really feel like I was making a difference in people's lives. That just flat out what it was. I was driving around one day, and I said, you know, I really don't like this. I really don't care to be selling this product for the rest of my life. I'd rather be consulting people on how to change their lives. I'd rather be helping athletes go out there and pursue their dreams than selling this product. And I got to a point, and I said, you know, personally, I'm not happy with how my body feels at this weight and at this particular state. So I think it was just a coming to Jesus moment. I had it twice where I dealt with it the first time from a standpoint of being in the hospital. But then the second time when I came to that, I guess, quarter-life crisis with my job, where it was like, you know, I don't really think that this is something I really want to continue to do. I need to find something else that I find more fulfillment in. And I haven't looked back since. And has it been easy? No. I had to work a lot of odd jobs, Uber, Lyft. When I was doing my internship at UIC and doing it, one thing they don't tell you is when you do your internship in sports performance, strength conditioning, 9 times out of 10, they're not paid, but you will get the experience of your life.
Trust me.
So you will learn. So you know. So I'm sitting up here paying for parking, gas, and all sorts of stuff, literally leaving there to go Uber and Lyft and train clients. I actually started, people ask me, how did you get into Under Armour? I worked at Under Armour. And I worked there as a fully grown man in a graduate program, working at Under Armour, trying to get myself together.
Right.
You know, but I did what I had to do. And I realized that not everybody gets this opportunity to pursue their dreams and go all in. So for me, my mindset was I need to make the determination and decision to put the resources forward for me to go all in on this. So all in meant, yes, a master's degree. All in meant, yes, this certification that I'm currently studying for now. All in means I do what I got to do to make it happen. I reject the comfort of a stable, quote unquote, job to go after the unstable dream that can potentially be rewarded tenfold.
Yeah, I feel you on that, brother. I definitely feel you on that. And like you were saying, man, those internships, you're 35. So if I had to do my math in my head, you were what, 30-ish when you were doing your internship?
Yeah.
So
31, 32, yeah.
Dog.
I'm in there with college kids.
Yes.
I mean, and that's crazy.
You older than some of the coaches. Just to be flat.
Yes, I'm around the age of some. I'm around the age of some of the coaches. Yeah.
And bro, I'm telling you, I did that at Southern Miss, and you've talked to Coach Finley. You talked to Minor. Minor was gone by the time I got there, but man, it is. If your mental's not right, you won't last in that field, especially as an intern, man. So
You
I
got to humble yourself as the intern. You have to humble yourself as the intern. And I'm going to tell you, I mean, minor, everybody else will tell you, you come in there to a little master's degree and your little certified personal training certification.
No, sir.
They start talking shop. You will sit down and you will listen and you will learn.
Shut up and
that is
learn.
exactly what will happen. That's exactly what will happen. And it's not to be brass tacks. That's how it is.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be able to come in and say, okay, what is the expectation? What is it that you expect me to do? And then you go out and you do it. And you have to have the energy behind everything that you do. And you have to have the humility to learn what you need to learn. And that is something that has been critical in an unpaid environment.
Facts, man. Because like I went from, so I did my internship for about 6 months from July to December. And the 2 previous years, or the 4 previous years, I was coaching track at Biloxi High School as an assistant coach. My last 2 years at Biloxi High, my thrower won state for shot put, back to back. And I'm working on my master's at the same time. Last thing for my master's is an internship. So I hit up the strength coach at Southern Miss, and that's where I met Coach Finley. Like, you talk about being high. To, like you said, you gotta be humble, bro. You gotta be humble. Like, I seen a couple young cats on Clubhouse, and they're like, man, you know, I interned, I did this, I'm ready. I'm like, yeah, you're ready, bro, but you also got to remember, you only like 21, 22. Like, so just be grateful that you had these experiences that you've had. And now, like, you know, you never know, man. The way the field is set up with coaches getting fired and hired every day, man, yeah. So salute to you for being humble enough and chasing your dreams enough to go ahead and do that at 30 years old, man.
And you got to study. When you get in there, you'll realize you'll quickly realize how much you don't know.
Yes, sir.
You will quickly realize how much. I mean, there were times I would literally sit in there and be looking at them, wondering what were we talking about. We're talking about conjugate training style and different quadrants. I mean, we're talking about. I mean, when it comes down to linear progressions, and you're trying to figure out, okay, this athlete has this knee valgus, this percentage of knee valgus. How do you correct it?
Right.
What are the things that we're doing to try to make sure that this athlete is not at risk of an ACL tear? I need you to run
a hamstring strain. Yeah, of a hamstring strain also. You know, you got to. And the crazy part is, going into it, you don't know what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go into
don't know. You don't know what you don't know because in many cases the person, you may not have been taught.
Exactly.
So you're sitting here, you're literally coming into a situation in a setting where, you know, you just may not know because you just haven't been taught it. It's not the fact that you don't want to know, you just don't know it.
Right.
So it's just, so you're in a situation now where, but these are the things that they know, and you have to be willing to extrapolate that information and apply that information very quickly too. Because one of the things that I can't speak for everybody's program, but in my program, Coach Nick wanted us to know how to do his job. He said, I'm going to throw you into the wolves and you better be able to survive.
Right.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, if I tell you I want you to run workouts today, you need to know exactly how the warm-up is going to go, exactly how mobility is going to go, exactly how their progressions are going to go. You need to be able to coach on the spot. You need to be able to see where someone may need to regress. You need to be able to see all these things with your eyes and be able to coach with your mouth. And if you're not able to do that, then you're not going to be able to last in this business. So it's sink or swim. When it comes to personal training, I think personal training is very different. And I think that's something that we as strength coaches need to probably know, is that, you know, there's a lot of transferable skills, but I think the psychology of dealing with a trainer, me being a trainer and working with the public, is different from dealing with athletes.
Right.
So, you know, I can tell you that I think being a strength coach and having that experience and getting the education has definitely sharpened me as a trainer.
Right.
And given me the ability to do things that I wasn't able to do before from like a coaching perspective.
Right. So I think you just said there's a bunch of transferable skills. I think the biggest transferable skill, Larry, is customer service.
That's true.
being a servant, you know, 'cause you know, people are paying you as a personal trainer. So, you know, you're doing whatever you can to serve them. And then you switch over and you're coaching as a strength coach, and you're literally Coach Woodfin was big on service leadership and being a servant to these athletes. So I think, man, that's one of the biggest things. Obviously, you know, you got to have the knowledge and whatnot, because if you don't know what you're doing, you just don't know what you're doing. But man, like,
yeah, you know what you're doing.
right, right.
You're right.
But yeah, you gotta be able to be a people person, man, and have these
Absolutely.
people willing to work for you.
Yep. And the other thing too, I think is very important for coaches, trainers, everyone alike, is to be yourself.
Yes.
You have to bring your own personality. You know, I'm not going to come in here and expect that this trainer and this coach is going to be like this coach. Everybody has their own personal style. Everybody has their own personal personality. I can tell you, when I met Coach Rudy Wade, when he was the strength coach at Iowa State, his personality was different from Coach Ken Manning. Coach Ken Manning at Michigan State, his coaching style was different from Justin Lovett. Justin Lovett, his coaching style was different. Every single one of them had a different demeanor. They had a different mindset. Yeah, they could turn it up. Yeah, they could turn it down. But every one of them had a different coaching style. Right. And I think that their coaching style is what translated to the athletes that they were working with. It's the same thing with personal training. Personal training, you see a lot of copycats. You have to be yourself. You have to be who God created you to be. And when you do that, I think that it'll align you with the right people and the right clients that will mesh with your personality, that you will be able to get through to, that maybe other trainers and other coaches may not be able to get through to.
Facts. So, man, you mentioned one of your goals. I don't know if it's set for this year, or I would assume, you know, this year or within the next 2 years. You want to get that CSCS, right? Or that CS.
Oh, that's this year, brother. I legit just came off a study call before I called you. And my coach, who's been helping me study for this, told me I need to get this test done in the next 2 to 3 months. And in fact, she wants me to get it done in the next month. So the heat is on. Like that's happening. That's happening within the first half of this year. Easy. It has to. I've been studying for a year, so that's definitely a goal. Hands down, the hardest test I've ever studied for in my entire life.
It's the hardest test I ever took. I got my master's, dog, and I aced my master's. Like the comps at the end,
right?
I aced it.
The comps I aced it. Right. This man, comps are a joke compared to this.
Right.
I'm studying for this thing. I'm like, man, this might as well have been the comps, because this was legit the comps.
Because I was sitting down. I remember when I took it. I don't know how it's going to look in a pandemic, but I took it 2014, I guess. And I go in, and first off, I had to drive to Mobile from Biloxi. So I slept at a friend's house the night before. Go to take it. Ended up failing, but I never even got my scores back, because the way I didn't turn in my CPR card and all that on time. So it was like, yeah, you get your scores when you turn in your CPR card and all that. But man, just looking back, I'm like, dude, and it's so expensive. Like, it's like, whew. Yeah, that's the main reason. I'm like, yeah, before I ever go take that again, I'm gonna have to sit down like you did, man, at least a year probably, and just be like, all right, now it's time.
I've been at it for a year, and I'm still not quite there yet. But I will tell you, I'm turning up the heat, and some of that might mean getting off Clubhouse and spending time in your club book.
Hello.
So as you can see, this thing this puppy has had quite a few miles on it already.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not playing. Definitely, it's definitely a goal, but it's not just a goal. It's a no matter what, a must have now at this point.
Right.
This is something that I've wanted to do for some time. It's just now about execution.
Cool. So, man, my next question is, what about some other goals you got coming up this year or next year, or however long you want to go?
I want to scale my online business. I want to scale my online business to 6 figures. I think that there's a market for online training right now. I think that it helps trainers be able to help more people. I think that given the COVID pandemic, it's more of a demand for it, for virtual options. So my goal is to learn what I need to learn from a online perspective to scale that business to be successful and to get it to, you know, a six-figure business. So as you can see, I got plenty of different different books that I'm looking into. So there's been a lot of studying involved. Fortunately, you know, being on Clubhouse, you get a chance to, you know, network with people who are doing it successfully. But I think that, you know, one thing that we need as trainers is time, and time to be able to work with our clients, and being able to scale it requires you to be able to manage that time and being able to put it in a platform that takes away some of the hurdles that suck up our time, i.e. transit, and things to that effect. So I'm trying to gain a team of, you know, so many people that will be fully bought into the business, and will be, you know, doing what they have to do. I'm trying to have each one of them transform. So my hard goal for me is to scale my online business to a six-figure mark. I think that in doing that as a strength coach, when the time comes, having it running well will give me flexibility to be able to move, and to take care of the things I need to take care of from a family standpoint as well.
Cool. Hey, so before we get you up out of here, Larry, man, I've been enjoying just chopping it up with you and getting your story. Shout out any and all social media and websites.
Okay. So I'm going to be rebranding myself. Right now, you can find me at LH Fitness Solutions. Okay. If you go to Instagram, my handle is LH Fitness Solutions. If you go to Facebook, my name is Larry LH Fitness. So it's pretty much my initials, LH Fitness. If you go to YouTube, it's LH Fitness on YouTube. I am looking at trying to, and my website currently under construction is lhfitnesssolutions.com. That will be changing in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm currently in the process of rebranding. It will still have LH Fitness in it, but I want to make sure that people are able to connect with me and that I'm consistent on all platforms. So that will be changing. But right now, the best way to get in touch with me would be via Instagram, LH Fitness Solutions, and that's with an S.
Cool. Hey, Larry, we appreciate you getting on with us. This has been another episode of For the Health of It, and I'm your host, Corian K. Paget. Thank you.